We got everything going. Stripes, solids, specs.
Call the order of this special meeting, the District Board of Community Facility Districts, 5 p.m. Monday, 10 July 2006. Members of the District Board of Community Facilities General District Number 1, CFD Utilities District Number 1, Palm Valley, CFD Number 3, Estrella Mountain Ranch, CFD Centera, CFD Cortina, CFD Cottonflower, CFD Wildflower Ranch, CFDs Number 1 and 2, and King Ranch, CFD. All board members are in attendance. Ask the board if they would accept the minutes of a special meeting of the District Board held on 12 June. That's in it's part of number 2 in the booklet. Any questions or comments?
So it's the June 12th and June 19th.
And June 19th. Good correction. 2 sets of minutes, June 12th and June 19th. Okay, all accepted for filing. No expenditures to ratify or approve. Do we have any comments from any of the board members or the public? Any comments from the public on a non-agenda item? Seeing none, we'll move to consent agenda item. And I'll ask the clerk if she would read the consent items by title only, please.
Resolution 06047, approving modification of assessment 6, parcel 73 of the special assessment lot. Item B, adopt EMRCFD Resolution 06049, approving modification of assessment 9, parcel 76 of the special assessment lot. The following annual financial reports will be accepted for CFGB number 1, PBCFD number 3, CFUB number 1, WFRCFD number 1, WFRCFGB number 2, Flower Ranch CFD, Estrella Mountain Ranch CFD, Centera CFD, and Cortina CFD for fiscal year 2005.
Okay, thank you. Would anyone on the public wish to remove an item from the consent agenda? Would anyone on the board wish to remove an item? Could I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, please?
So moved.
Motion from board member Scott and a second from board member Antoniak. Do we have a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Holland. Board Member Holland. I can't find my sheet. Board Member Scott.
Aye.
Board Member Cavalier.
Aye.
Board Member Sousa.
Aye.
Board Members Antoniak.
Aye.
Board Member Lord.
Aye.
Chairman Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Passed 7-0.
Okay, thank you. We'll now move to the business part of our agenda. And first, I'll announce a public hearing to receive comments for or against any of the proposed expenditures in the final budgets for the 10 community facilities districts. Open the public hearing, and I'll give it to Sheila.
Good evening, Chairman Kavanaugh and board members and audience. What we have here before us is the agenda, or the final budgets for all of the 10 CFDs that we have within the city. And these budget items have not changed from the previous meeting. The amounts are all the same. We haven't changed anything. The amounts that are high, it's only because we did that in case we do any bonding. We had that as the capacity, so that was outstanding bonding authority that is still available. So that you'll see that the numbers in the budgets are rather high, but that's the reason why we did it. I would entertain any questions if you have any at this time.
Okay, again, we're seeking public comment. And speaking to the public, I have to run through each one of these. Are there any comments on Community Facilities General District Number 1? Any comments on Community Facilities Utilities District Number 1? Any comments on Palm Valley Community Facilities District Number 3? Any comments on Estrella Mountain Ranch Community Facilities District Number 1? Any comment on Centerra Community Facilities District? Any comment on Cortina Community Facilities District? Any comment on Cottonflower Community Facilities District? Any comment on King Ranch Community Facilities District? Any comments on Wildflower Ranch Community Facilities General District Number 1? Any comments on Wildflower Ranch Community Facilities General District Number 2? Seeing no public comments, I'll close that public hearing and announce that one motion will be made for all 10 community facilities districts, and when I get to that, I'll be asking board members who's to initiate that motion. Okay, ask the clerk to read the resolution by title only, please.
A resolution of the chairman and board of the Goodyear Community Facilities Districts to adopt resolutions number CFGD number 1, 06137, CFUD number 1, 06061, PVCFD number 3, 06013, Centerra CFD Resolution 06022, Cottonflower 06226, Cortina Resolution 06021, Estrella Mountain Ranch number 1, Resolution 06048, King Ranch Resolution 06004, Wildflower Ranch number 1, Resolution 06033, Wildflower Ranch number 2, Resolution 06028, approving the final budget of the individual district boards for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2006 and ending July 30th, 2007.
Okay, thank you. Could I have a motion, please?
Mr. Mayor, regarding items 8A through 8K, I move to adopt resolutions numbers CFGD number 1, RES 06-137, CFUD number 1, RES 06061, PVCVD number 3, RES 06-013, Centerra RACFD RES 06-022, Cottonflower 06026, Cortina RES 06021, DMR CFD number 1, RES 06048, KRCFD RES 06-004, WFR CFGD number 1, RES 06-033, WFR CFGD number 2, RES 06-028, approving the final budget of the individual district boards for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2006 and ending July 30th, 2007. So moved.
Second. Okay, I have a motion from Board Member Souza and a second from Board Member Antoniak. Discussion on council. Seeing none, I'll ask for a roll call vote, please.
Board Member Sousa,
Aye.
Board Member Antoniak,
Aye.
Board Member Scott,
Aye.
Board Member Holland,
Aye.
Board Member Lord,
Aye.
Vice Chairman Cavalier,
Aye.
Chairman Cavalier, no. Chairman,
Aye.
7-0, passed.
Okay, we'll now move to items L to U. And again, here we'll have one motion, and I've asked the vice chairman if he would do that for us when we get to that. And I'd ask the clerk. No, I want to start with Sheila. Sheila.
Chairman Kavanaugh and board members. Again, these items are all for the property tax on each of the CFDs. The maximum property tax for operations and maintenance is 30 cents. There's only one that we're doing at 10 cents, and that is by an amendment that we did with the Suncor District CFDs. All the rest are 30 cents. Every CFD is at their maximum property tax levy except for Wildflower Ranch Community Facilities General District Number 1 and General District Number 2. And that's based upon the assessed valuation, and that is only to cover the debt service. if you have any questions, I would like to entertain them at this time.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to ask the clerk if she'd read the ordinance by title only, ordinances by title only.
Excuse me, Chairman, Kavanaugh and board members, I made a mistake on the utilities district. The O&M is at 25 cents, not the 30, and that was also by that waiver agreement.
Okay, correction made. Okay, could we ask the clerk if she'd read the ordinances by title only, please?
An ordinance for all 10 of the CIAT Community Facilities General District number districts, Maricopa County, Arizona, levying upon the assessed valuation of the property within the general district, subject to ad valorem taxation, a certain sum upon each $100 of valuation sufficient to raise the amounts estimated to be required in the annual budget for the purpose of paying for various operating expenses, to raise the amount estimated to be required in the annual budget, less the amount estimated to be received from other sources of revenue, providing funds for various bond redemptions for the purpose of paying principal and interest upon bonded indebtedness, all for fiscal year ending the 30th day of June 2007.
Okay, Vice Chair, could I have a motion, please?
I move to adopt ordinances, CFGD number 1, ordinance 06-018, CFUD number 1, ordinance 06-018, PVCFD number 3, ordinance 06-002, was that Centura?
Yes.
CFD ordinance 06-005, cottonwood flower, WRCFD ordinance 06007, Cortina CFD ordinance 06005, Estrella Mountain Ranch CFD number 1 ordinance 06-007, King Ranch CFD ordinance 06-001, WFR CFGD number 1 ordinance 06-010, WFR CFGD number 2 ordinance 06-007, levying the secondary assessed valuation for administration, operations, and maintenance and debt service for each of the 10 community facilities districts. So moved.
Second.
Okay, thank you. I have a motion from Vice Chair Cavalier and a second from Board Member Scott. Council discussion? Seeing none, could I have a roll call vote, please?
Board Member Antoniak?
Aye.
Board Member Scott?
Aye.
Board Member Holland? Aye. Board Member Lord?
Aye.
Vice Chairman Cavalier?
Aye.
Board Member Sousa?
Aye.
Chairman Kavanaugh?
Aye.
Passed 7-0.
Okay, thank you. We'll now move to have a public hearing for the feasibility report for Estrella Mountain Ranch Community Facilities District. Open the public hearing and ask Sheila Mills to do the staff presentation.
Chairman Kavanaugh and board members, I'm going to hand this over to Scott Ruby, who is our bond counsel and our counsel for the CFDs. And we also have a representative from Newland Communities, Mr. Pennington, as well for the Newland Communities Estrella Mountain Ranch CFD.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Pleasure to be here. Scott Ruby with Gus Rosenfeld. What you have before you is a feasibility report prepared for the Estrella Mountain Community Facilities District. It involves a new assessment bond area that they propose, which is they're calling the Montecito Assessment District. The proceeds would be used primarily to construct Calistoga Drive or Lane or something, Calistoga Drive, and a few offshoots to that in an area that I think is defined pretty well and better than I could do in the feasibility report and on the map under tab 3. The proposed district would result, or issuance of bonds, would result in an assessment of approximately $8,000 or up to $8,600 per lot. It is my understanding that the home builders in the area have agreed to just an $8,000 assessment, and so I would anticipate the bond issue will be sized accordingly, albeit the infrastructure costs are beyond that, beyond what the bond size will be, but as is the case in all of our districts, the infrastructure will be financed significantly from bond proceeds and partially from developer contribution. Again, like our other financings, the cost of issuance for the bonds will be paid by the developer, and those costs are also detailed in the feasibility report. With that, this is the third assessment district in the Australia Mountain CFD, and just so I can put a little perspective to this, because you might be seeing Australia Mountain a few times in the upcoming future, there is another assessment district, another home builder is talking about for this district with Ingle Homes, and so that may come in a few months. And likewise, they anticipate the issuance of general obligation bonds, bonds supported by the $1 ad valorem tax levy, which you just passed a couple motions ago. So this district, Australia Mountain CFD, will have an assessment district for Montecito, an assessment district potentially for Ingle Homes, and a general obligation bond transaction, of course, subject to your approval. With that, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I'll answer any questions you might have about the report or any questions posed to me by the audience.
Okay, continue with the public hearing. Opportunity now for public comment. Feasibility report. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing, and I'll ask the district clerk to read the resolution by title only, please.
Resolution EMR CFD 06051, a resolution of the Board of Directors of the Australia Mountain Ranch Community Facilities District approving the feasibility report relating to the acquisition, construction, and financing of certain improvements benefiting the district, providing that the proposed improvements will be performed and special assessment revenue bonds will be issued under the provisions of Title 48, Chapter 4, Article 6, Arizona Revised Statutes, and all amendments thereto.
Okay, thank you. Could I have a motion, please, to adopt EMR CFD Resolution 06051?
The adoption of the resolution referred by the county clerk.
Second.
I have a motion from Board Member Souza and a second from Board Member Antoniak. Are there any comments on the board? Board Member Souza?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I ask this question every time we come up with these proposals. What type of obligation is the city encumbering itself with in passing this resolution?
Mr. Chairman, Board Member Sousa, the CFD is its own political subdivision. Consequently, it is responsible for its own obligations. These are special assessment bonds, so they are obligations of the district only, not the town, not the city at all. They do have a specific revenue or a payment stream, and that is the assessment lien levied against the property, and the property owner pays that in biannual, semi-annual installments. So consequently, it is just a district responsibility supported solely by the payments received from the property owners of the assessed property.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, thank you. Board Member Antoniak?
Just a quick question on Appendix D, or am I looking at the right thing? I think I am. Feasibility report, right? What's the some lots are being assessed annually $394, at least estimates. $394, others are $656, a difference. There's two planting areas, 7.1 and 7.5, that have a special assessment per lot of $4,800. The rest have $8,000. Is there a reason for the difference?
Mr. Chairman, Board Member Antoniak, I believe those $4,800 assessments relate to the proposed multifamily parcels.
So hypothetically, there's two houses on the same amount of space as there would be on the other areas.
Yes.
We assume almost double the density.
If I can elaborate a bit, we will have an assessment methodology prepared by the district engineer, which makes certain that the amount of assessment is at least equal to the benefit received by the particular parcel. So what is put here are in the back in Appendix D are the expected assessments for each lot. In the event, for some reason, that methodology or strategy does not dictate this level of assessments, then we will abandon this level and we will assess appropriately. In no event will it exceed $8,000 per lot.
Curiosity. Good. Further discussion? Okay. Ask the clerk to do a roll call vote, please.
Board Member Scott? Board Member Holland?
Aye.
Board Member Lord?
Aye.
Vice Chairman Cavalier?
Aye.
Board Member Sousa?
Aye.
Board Member Antoniak?
Aye.
Chairman Kavanaugh?
Aye.
Passed 7-0.
Okay, thank you. We'll now move to consider adopting EMR CFD Resolution 06052, declaring an intention to acquire and or construct certain infrastructure improvements. Sheila Mills will do the staff presentation.
Mayor, members of the board, if I can inject before Sheila gets up here. This matter, this resolution in particular, contemplates the execution of a waiver and development agreement signed by what turned out to be 8 parties. That waiver has not yet been executed and delivered to the city, so I would ask that you ignore that item for the time being, and we'll bring it back to you on a subsequent agenda.
Question. Is there any time limit on that?
Mr. Chairman, Board Member Sousa, are you referring to time limit on the resolution or the waiver agreement?
The waiver agreement.
No, the problem was we received title reports about 8 or 9 days ago, which had about 3 extra names on it, and so we had to redo the waiver with those new signatures required, and consequently sent them out. And with the 4th of July and that sort of thing, they were unable to obtain these signatures apparently and deliver that executed document. When they do, it has no expiration date to it. When they do, we'll know that they've waived the particular provisions of the statute they need to waive, and they've also agreed to indemnify the district with respect to any securities law problems that might pop up in the future.
I asked a question because, of course, this is going to be the council's last meeting, or the board's last meeting before we come back here in August, mid-August, so that's the reason I asked the question.
Mr. Chairman, Board Member Sousa, thank you for reminding us of that. I think we all are aware it's August 28th before we see you again, so, and we'll probably be here.
Thank you.
There's a
Thank you,
CFD
Chairman.
meeting already scheduled for that night, so
We will definitely see you. So thank you.
Okay.
Chairman Kavanaugh,
Yes,
do you need a continuance on this, or does it matter? I don't know if you formally do or not.
Mr. Chairman, Board Member Antoniak, I don't think we do. It's just a matter that is not ready to be heard. I apologize for it being on the agenda, and, we will deal with it and put it on a subsequent agenda when I'm certain I've got executed waivers in my hand. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll move on to information. Hopefully there's any information. But I did want to thank, but this is a tough agenda. Thank you, Scott and Sheila and Sarah, and particularly to Dee and Lynn for helping me through this with your notes. So thanks a lot. Okay, meeting's adjourned, and we'll meet at 6 o'clock for our regular meeting.